Today I am here to chat about matte skin. As somebody with a very oily skin, this is a topic that is incredibly important to me, and these are a few steps that I've added to my skincare routine to help slow down oil production and kind of balance my skin more, along with steps in my makeup routine that help with preventing makeup breakup and things sliding around on your face. This video is in collaboration with Mary Kay. I'm going to be chatting about one of their brand new charcoal masks that's coming out on the 16th, so this is a little sneak peek for you. So let's go ahead and get started. I've chatted about this before, but skincare is such an important step, and before I really realized that, no matter the foundation I used, I got incredibly oily. It happened fast. I was blotting all day, and it felt like there was nothing I could do about it. But now that I've been really trying to improve my skincare, I've seen a total difference. I'm still oily, but it feels more manageable, and it's like I don't mind being a little bit oily, less wrinkles when you're older, but it just feels so much better. Like my makeup is not slipping off, my skin feels healthier, and just overall so much better. So getting started with my skincare in this routine, I'm making use of the Mary Kay Clear Proof Deep Cleansing Charcoal Mask. This comes with tons of product. You get 4 ounces in here, and it retails for $26. It will be available on May 16th. It has activated charcoal in there, which is really good for clogged pores and smoothing your skin. It also has peppermint in there, which gives it a really nice cooling sensation on the skin. You can use it 2 or 3 times a week. I left mine on for just over 10 minutes. You can leave it on for 10 to 20 minutes. But what I really liked about it is that it dried quite quickly, because sometimes you don't have tons of time. And doing a mask is such a nice relaxing thing, but sometimes you need to do a mask just solely for the skincare benefits. So it dried quite quickly and washed off easily, which is important to me because sometimes masks are a hassle and a half to get off. And in looking into this mask a little bit more, I read that it has not only the peppermint and the activated charcoal, but it also has honeysuckle and navy bean. And I was like, what is that for? I've never heard of like navy bean in skincare before, but it is to help smooth the skin and also help with any dark spots. So it is suitable for all skin types. Just depends on where you have any issues that you might want to like maybe more so multi-mask it, put it down the center of your face. But for me, I'm incredibly oily, so I put it all over my skin, and it left it feeling really clear and clean, but it didn't feel like it was stripped and dry, because some products, and I'm totally guilty of it, I've used before, that totally just strip the skin. So depending on when you're using your mask, you always want to follow up with a moisturizer. At night, I have started incorporating an oil into my routine, and I really feel like this has made a difference. Feels really weird. I totally did not believe that an oil would actually do anything for me, but I do feel like it has helped to balance my skin. I've been loving the Clarins Lotus Oil, but it is the daytime right now and I'm doing my makeup prep, so I've been using the L'Oreal Hydra Genius Moisturizer. This one is meant for oily skin, and I've talked about this before, but you need to still moisturize your skin if you are oily. You need to still moisturize your skin if you are oily. Otherwise, your skin will be dehydrated and it'll be like, I need to produce more, I need to produce more, and your skin in turn is just gonna work backwards on you, and you will produce more oil, which is absolutely what we do not want. Moving on from moisturizer, once you've given that some time to absorb into your skin, going into a mattifying primer. I've really been liking this one from Neutrogena. It has a rice complex in there. I'm not sure if that is what gives it its gritty feeling, but that's something to keep in mind. The gritty feeling does not stay on your skin, but you can feel it when you're putting it on your skin. And be sure to keep your mattifying products away from your under eye, because you don't want to strip the moisture from there, and that will create creasing and maybe even fine lines. Once your primer has had some time to set, you can either go in with your setting spray. Today I'm going to be using actually the Face Atelier Ultra Matte. This is a spray that can be used as a setting spray and a primer, but I really like it as a primer because it helps give a little bit of a slip. Because if you're using a mattifying foundation, a mattifying primer, you don't want it to kind of drag on your skin. You still want to be able to move things around and have them blend really nicely. And I feel like it does a good job helping with that and mattifying. For my foundation today, I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear, which is incredibly matte. You could almost skip a powder with that, but this is like the Big Daddy routine. We're not skipping any steps. I'm using a stipple brush because I want to go in really lightly. I don't want to build up too much product on my face. Really light layers. And for concealer today, I'm also using a more mattifying concealer, or more like, I don't want to call it a mattifying concealer, but it definitely dries down to more of a powder finish. It is the Tarte Shape Tape. Keep that in mind, your concealer choices, especially if you're doing the triangle under your eye, because you're gonna have concealer here, and those can be pretty oily areas. So this is a concealer that I find does a good job and doesn't make me more oily. And you're also like, I get really oily in here, and I notice depending on the concealer I use, I'll definitely have more oiliness and more oil breakthrough up around my nose area. Once you've given your concealer and your foundation a minute or two, or you can go in immediately, but you wanna make sure not to lift off your foundation. I like to go in with a blotting sheet, or you can rip, what I used to do is rip a piece of toilet paper in half. If you got like the 2-ply, rip it in half and just kind of blot your skin. This will remove a little bit of the excess foundation. It won't actually move it or remove any coverage, but just kind of that extra layer that hasn't really set on your skin. And I can't remember who I saw do this years and years ago on YouTube, but it is something I do when I really want to help with the longevity of my makeup. I know in a tutorial from like 2012 I did it. It's been around for a while, but I like to do that just to remove any excess, especially if you're using a foundation that isn't super mattifying. I definitely recommend that. Then once you've done that, to keep the excess going, I'm gonna go in with my setting spray to lock both my foundation and my concealer in place, and I'm gonna be using the Urban Decay De-Slick. Once that has had some time to set into your skin, I'm now gonna go in with some powder. You're probably thinking I'm crazy. Maybe you're not. If you have oily skin, you're like, I get it. I get wanting to stop the oil production. It's just so annoying feeling like your face is looking really oily, or like your makeup is ruined by the end of the day, like things have just totally broken apart. Like I have been there for a long time. I didn't even realize I had oily skin, and things were just, they were just a mess. So going in with powder now, using the Kat Von D contour kit to set my under eye, and then on the rest of my face I'm using the Maybelline Matte and Poreless powder, and I'm using that with the e.l.f. powder brush. I love it because it's super dense, and I'm just kind of like patting it into my skin, not buffing, not like rubbing by any means. This is just kind of like putting it into my skin, not packing on a ton of product, but just really packing it in there, really concentrated to make sure that I'm not missing any areas, and it really is pressed into my skin. Once that's complete, I just go in like any other foundation or makeup routine with my bronzer and my blush. I actually skipped the highlight today in the celebration of matte skin. I can't remember the last time I filmed and didn't wear a highlighter. Do you even recognize me? But I went in with those products, and once that is complete, I go in with more setting spray. Back in with the Urban Decay De-Slick, and I kind of drenched myself in it today, and I then let that dry. Gave that about like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 minutes. You really want to make sure that that is set. And I find, or I used to find, that sometimes when I'd go in and set my face, it added a bit of shine to my skin, even if it wasn't oil controlling setting spray. So what I started doing was using a powder after the fact. So today, this is something that you might be like, oh, that looks really powdery, that's going to be really cakey. Try it out on your own, see what you think, but it still feels really lightweight on my skin. I'm using the Rimmel Clear Complexion powder. I've also used the Neutrogena Shine Control powder for this, and other powders. This is like a translucent powder that I just pack on kind of around my chin, around my nose, where it gets super oily, and a little bit more on my forehead. I don't love it as much with a colored powder. I feel like the translucent powders do a little bit better, even though it ends up looking a little bit ghostly. I'll show you how to deal with that. I just kind of pack that all over the areas that I know are going to get oily. It's kind of like baking, but to a lesser extent. And then once that's done, I just went in with my Maybelline powder again on a fluffier brush and kind of brushed it over my face, and then went in and just did a little bit of nose contouring with my bronzer to bring that dimension back. I will say that this can look a little bit, not so much cakey, but it definitely looks a little bit powdery. But if you are truly oily, within an hour, once your face starts to like warm up and the oils start to try and push through, it looks so much more natural, and I really feel like that last step has made such a difference in helping my makeup last and to prevent blotting at all during the day. So there you have it. That is like a bajillion steps to matte skin. Be sure to check out the Mary Kay Clear Proof Mask. I will link to it down below, and it's a beautiful clay mask. Feels so nice and soothing on the skin, and it's got that great cooling feeling, and I really feel like it has been a great addition into my my matte skincare routine. And be sure to check out the blog post as well if you're interested in winning one. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!